Emma had always believed that love was about sacrifice, about giving parts of yourself to build something greater with someone else. But she never thought that love would demand a sacrifice so humiliating, so degrading, that it would leave scars on her soul. Before we go on, please show a little love by subscribing to the channel. Also like and comment if you enjoyed or want to support the video, thank you. When Emma met Ryan, he seemed perfect. He was charming, well-spoken, and had a way of making her feel like the most important person in any room. Their relationship moved quickly, from casual dates to deep conversations about marriage and children. Emma fell in love with the man who always knew the right thing to say, the man who promised her a future filled with respect and partnership. But people are not always who they pretend to be. Ryan had a past, like everyone. There was a woman named Olivia. Emma knew about her, vaguely. Ryan had brushed her off as an ex, a fling that ended badly but was long forgotten. He never mentioned how serious they had been, never spoke of the fact that their relationship had left unfinished business. Emma didn't press him. She trusted him. She shouldn't have. When Emma married Ryan, she thought she was marrying a man who was ready to start a fresh chapter. But only months into their marriage, the shadow of Olivia began to creep into their lives. It started subtly. Late-night calls that Ryan dismissed as work emergencies. Mysterious text messages he always cleared before she could see. The signs were there, but Emma wanted to believe in her husband. She told herself she was imagining things. Until the day Olivia showed up at their doorstep. It was a cold morning. Emma was in the kitchen making breakfast when the doorbell rang. Ryan was still in bed. She opened the door and there stood Olivia, holding a baby in her arms. Emma froze. She had never met Olivia in person, but there was no mistaking who she was. The woman was beautiful in an effortless way, but her face was drawn, tired. She looked like someone who had been carrying a heavy burden for far too long. "Is Ryan home?" Olivia asked, her voice flat but urgent. Emma's mind raced. "Who are you?" "I'm Olivia. I need to speak to Ryan. It's important." Before Emma could respond, Ryan appeared behind her, his face paling as he saw Olivia and the baby. His reaction told Emma everything she needed to know. This wasn't a random visit. This wasn't a coincidence. Ryan invited Olivia in, and they sat in the living room. The baby, a tiny girl with large brown eyes, was restless, squirming in Olivia's arms. "What is this, Ryan?" Emma asked, her voice trembling. Ryan sighed, rubbing his face. "Emma, there's something I didn't tell you. Before we got married, Olivia got pregnant. We weren't together anymore, but things happened. She didn't tell me until recently." Emma felt like the ground beneath her feet was shifting. She looked at Olivia, who was now rocking the baby gently. "So you have a child? And you didn't think I deserved to know?" "I was trying to protect you," Ryan said. "I didn't want to complicate things. But Olivia can't take care of the baby right now. She's dealing with stuff. She needs help. I thought maybe we could take care of the baby for a while." Emma's heart pounded. She wanted to scream, to throw something, but the sight of the innocent child softened her. None of this was the baby's fault. She didn't ask to be born into this chaos. Against her better judgment, Emma agreed to let Olivia stay for a few days until they figured things out. But those few days turned into weeks, and the weeks stretched into months. Emma found herself in a nightmare she couldn't wake up from. Olivia was always around, always present in their home. She wasn't rude or confrontational, but her mere existence was a constant reminder of Ryan's betrayal. The baby, named Sophie, was adorable, but she was also a symbol of everything Emma had been kept in the dark about. But the real humiliation came one evening when Ryan made a demand that would break Emma's heart in ways she couldn't have imagined. Sophie had been crying for hours. Olivia claimed she couldn't produce enough breast milk. She had tried formula, but Sophie was rejecting it, wailing non-stop. Emma, out of concern for the baby, tried everything to calm her down. Then Ryan said it. "Emma, maybe you should try breastfeeding her." The room fell silent. Emma thought she had misheard him. "What?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "You're still lactating, right? From when we were trying with the supplements. Sophie needs milk. Maybe it would work if you tried." Emma stared at him, horrified. "You want me to breastfeed your ex-girlfriend's baby?" Ryan looked frustrated, as if her refusal to agree was an inconvenience. "Emma, it's not about Olivia. It's about Sophie. She's a baby, she's innocent. She needs to eat. You've always been nurturing, always caring. I thought you'd understand." Olivia sat quietly, avoiding Emma's eyes. She didn't say a word. She didn't have to. Emma felt like she had been backed into a corner, stripped of her dignity in her own home. Tears filled Emma's eyes as she realized that Ryan didn't see her as his wife, his partner. He saw her as a solution, a tool to fix his mistakes. But against every ounce of pride she had, Emma agreed to breastfeed Sophie. She couldn't bear to see an innocent child suffer because of adult foolishness. The first time was the hardest. Every part of her soul rebelled as she held Sophie to her chest, as she nursed a child that wasn't hers, a child that represented a betrayal she hadn't been prepared for. But as days went by, her bond with Sophie grew stronger. The baby's cries softened, and in those quiet moments, Emma found a strange, bittersweet peace. But her relationship with Ryan deteriorated. He had expected her to forgive and forget, to accept Sophie as their own without complaint. But Emma couldn't pretend everything was fine. The resentment built up inside her, eating away at whatever love remained. One afternoon, Emma overheard a conversation that shattered whatever fragments of trust were left. Ryan was on the phone with a friend, speaking in hushed tones, unaware that Emma was in the next room. "Man, I don't know how I managed to pull this off. Emma is actually breastfeeding Olivia's baby. Can you believe that? She's more useful than I thought." Emma's heart stopped. More useful than I thought. Those words echoed in her mind like a cruel joke. That evening, Emma packed a small bag. She didn't scream or cry. She had no energy left for drama. She simply walked into the living room where Ryan and Olivia were seated. "I'm leaving," she said calmly. "I've done my part. Sophie deserves better than this circus. I deserve better." Ryan looked surprised, almost amused. "Where do you think you're going, Emma? This is your home." "No, Ryan," Emma said, her voice steady. "This is your mess. I was just the caretaker you tricked into cleaning it up. You'll figure it out, I'm sure." As she turned to leave, Olivia stood up, blocking her path. "Emma, please. Don't do this. I know you're hurt. I never wanted this. I was desperate. But Sophie needs you." Emma looked at Olivia, really looked at her. She saw a woman trapped in her own bad choices, a woman who had made Emma's life hell not out of malice, but out of weakness. But Emma was done carrying other people's burdens. "I love Sophie," Emma said. "But loving her doesn't mean I have to destroy myself." She walked out, leaving behind the house, the man, and the life that had stolen her dignity. It wasn't easy starting over. Emma moved in with her cousin, took a job at a local bookstore, and began rebuilding her life, one piece at a time. The emotional scars were deep, but she learned to forgive herself for staying as long as she did. Months later, Emma received a message from Olivia. It was a photo of Sophie, now chubby and smiling, with a simple caption, "Thank you for everything." Emma smiled. Despite everything, she had no regrets about caring for Sophie. But she had no desire to revisit that chapter. Then, one afternoon while she was arranging books on a shelf, Ryan walked into the bookstore. He looked thinner, stressed, but his arrogant smirk was still there. "Emma, I've been looking for you," he said, as if they were old friends. Emma didn't stop arranging the books. "Why, Ryan? Did you find another baby for me to breastfeed?" Ryan flinched, his cocky demeanor faltering. "Come on, Emma. You know I messed up. I was stupid. But we can fix this. We had something real." Emma finally turned to face him. "You didn't just mess up, Ryan. You humiliated me. You used me. You made me feel like an object. There's no fixing that." Ryan reached out, but Emma stepped back. "You know, the sad part is, I would have stayed if you had treated me like a partner. But you saw me as nothing more than a solution to your problems. I'm not your fixer, Ryan. Not anymore." Ryan's confident posture collapsed. He stood there, awkward and desperate. "Emma, please. I need you." Emma smiled, a genuine, calm smile. "But I don't need you, Ryan. I'm finally free." As she walked away, Ryan called after her, his voice filled with frustration and regret. But Emma didn't look back. She had found her strength, and no one was going to take it from her again.